Hi folks, so this is all about Paula Vennells, her witness statement to the Horizon IT system inquiry, which happened on Wednesday 22nd of May and Thursday the 23rd of May, and I believe she's also doing it today as I'm recording, which is Friday the 24th. So she put in a massive witness statement, 775 words, and she said she looked into all the cases, but sadly she didn't reach the right conclusions. There was lots of tears on the Wednesday. Postmasters who witnessed them were not very impressed, and some asked her to tell the truth now. Alan Bates didn't comment at the end of the first day. He wanted to wait till the evidence was complete, but I don't think he did later say he wanted to hear her giving the truth. When asked about Paula Vennells' treatment in the mainstream media, some sub-postmasters explained how they were treated, with their pictures in the news and commentary about them being fraudsters, etc., and how that affected them, made them look like criminals, how it affected them in their community, and how it affected their families. And that was brought up more in day 2, when Vennells asked for the post office that the post office demanded apologies over negative press, and she was asked about this, and she agreed that the post office strategy, even in 2019 when she stood down, was to minimise negative coverage. So Jason Beer, the KC, who's leading the inquiry, asked her about an email in which Vennells said that injunctions and demands of apology had been used with the media to ensure better coverage of the post office, and Paula Vennells denied that they used injunctions, but she did say that she'd taken legal advice over it and they'd certainly demanded apologies where the business felt that it had been misrepresented, and defended Horizon. Yes, it did, because she said at that time she had still had confidence in the system. And now then she said, I regret that hugely now. She said that yesterday, and she did say that on Wednesday a few times as well. She was asked, how could you not have known? This was asked about the Horizon issue question. She said she wished she had known more about the bugs. She claimed Fujitsu not sharing, including the earlier problems that the system had, which was designed for the DWP, and she also blamed poor management systems. She said she knew submasters' contracts had problems, but she accepted legal advice on them that she'd been given at the time, and she said, I simply didn't have the information on the IT system. Beer, again, the lead counsel, made a statement really to say the habitual desire to assign responsibility to an individual rather to conduct root cause analysis was endemic, if you like, in the post office senior management. Later, she denied that you're the only one having the issue line given out repeatedly to a variety of postmasters ringing the helpline. This was an organisational response. She denied that it was, and she said it wasn't used to deny the Horizon issues. She remarked it might have been used by a colleague in a call centre, but wasn't an organisational response to the problems, and wasn't used to isolate and individualise the issues. She was asked in day 2 why she didn't like the word bugs or glitches in the system, and she answered by saying, in my own mind, this seemed an emotive word. I know it isn't now. I fully accept that. It seemed a reasonable request because the 2 bugs we were dealing with, and this is wrong, they were 2 bugs which had been fixed. The business responded to them appropriately, and what I was trying to do was avoid misinterpretation. So Tim McCormack, the former Scottish sub-postmaster and campaigner for justice, who had evidenced the intermittent errors in the system and said they were real, had directly emailed Paula Vennells from 2014, and he said, your team are pulling the wool over your eyes and somebody will go to prison. And he asked her to phone Seema Misra, the postmistress who had been horrifically wronged and sent to prison, and he asked her to phone her and apologise to her, And he also says at the end of one of his emails later on, he says, I do wonder what God you worship. And she suggested his emails had become rather hysterical, abusive even, and therefore she wasn't giving them much authority, if you like, and she wasn't listening to them very much. She was listening to her team instead because she thought he was becoming abusive. I do wonder why. The inquiry is ongoing.